There are so many people who have this habit of using maximum strength on handshakes. Crossing can be like so many meanings, like I told you. This is like, I'm not open to what you're saying. I don't fucking care. Right? So that's what I'm saying here. We're starting a new series called Psychology of Success. In that, I'm going to cover gesture psychology, how to read other people's mind using body language. By end of this video, you will know exactly how people are thinking when they say, I love you, I like you, you look beautiful, you look handsome, or I want to deal with you, I want to buy from you, but they don't buy. You have been surprised for a long time why this is happening. People are saying, oh, they really love your product, but they're not buying from you. They really like you, but they're not spending time with you. So this is your chance to save money, build friendships, sell more, and influence people. So creating deals is something that you could use this for. So I have been in deal-making situations where I'm a consultant, I go with them, and I observe people and see if these people are willing to negotiate. And you might have seen this on big hostage negotiations and deals, international treaty, where the diplomats, they talk to each other, and there are people who are observing. And sometimes there is somebody who's an expert in gestures observing them to see if the deal is going to go through or not, so that they could plan accordingly. In sales conversations, you learn how to sell more by really understanding what the other person is thinking. And finally, this could be used for negotiation. When in life, if assuming you're a business person, you'll be negotiating on a day-to-day basis. Knowing how other people are thinking will help you clearly understand what you need to do to win that deal, so that it's a win-win for both you and your customers. Let's get started. Gestures have a deep connection with our evolution. Like you might have seen like dogs or monkeys doing this. Right? When they're mad, they just show their teeth. Showing teeth is a gesture that has been used by animals in animal kingdom to protect themselves, or sometimes scare other people away, or sometimes to attack. Right? The same way, humans have definitive gestures that are universal, that will let you know like what somebody is thinking. For example, if somebody is like doing like this, right? Like, it means it's called a shoulder shrug. Basically, it shows submission. I'm like, it's okay, whatever you say, right? Or they just raise their hand. Like this is a universal gesture. Like, I'm not armed. You're showing this area of your body, and you're showing this area of body, opening it. This area of your body, opening it. I'm not armed. Look at me. I'm unarmed. Please don't kill me. Right? It's a gesture. And how did that evolve? By showing the openness. And you will learn a lot about closing and openness. But as you do this, understand one thing. You're not just randomly observing gestures. You're looking for congruence. What does that mean? If I say, I really like you and touch my nose, what does that mean? If I say, you're so beautiful and touch my eyes, and if I say, I really want to hear about this and touch my ears, what does that mean? I'm really excited about this project, and if I touch my neck, if I scratch my neck, not like this, but like this, right? What does that mean? So we will find out. And then how it is consistent or inconsistent will give you clarity on how to move forward. But keep in mind, you have to read gestures in context. Sometimes a person might be closing their arm like that, and we might feel like they're defensive. But if the room is really cold, it basically means they're really cold. And there is a slight difference between a cold person and somebody who's disagreeing with you. And I'll show you that too. Right? So understand, you should read gestures in context. And so Alan P is somebody who wrote Body Language decades ago. I read it when I was in my early 20s. He says, gestures come in clusters. Okay, gestures come in clusters, which means that if you have one gesture that is defensive, it's highly likely there might be another gesture that is defensive. There might be another gesture that is defensive. On the collection of it means that, you know what, that's what they're thinking. Okay, let's talk about lying first. Lying, somebody's lying. A small kid is lying. They're like, Mommy! Mommy! I ate my breakfast. I ate my breakfast. Do you understand? That's what they do. If they say like this, obviously you know that they're lying. They don't know that. They'll be like, what? How come mommy figures out that I didn't eat breakfast all these days? Oh my gosh, how could she figure it out? Eventually, she will learn and she become a teenager. When she become a teenager, she will fold the 9 fingers and she will be holding like this. And she's like, mommy, no, it's not my boyfriend that I'm texting. Like she's still hiding her mouth, but she's hiding significantly little compared to before. Makes sense? Like this is it. And how's an adult lying? I'll show you in a second. When an adult lies, they do something else. They're trying to make sure that nobody figures this out because I've been living in this planet for like 20, 30, 40 years. Let's figure out a way to not show me hiding the mouth. So I do something special to lie, and I'll show you in a second. So I want to transition into PAM, the power of PAM. For example, if I say something like, oh my gosh, you are a really nice person. This is one gesture. It has one meaning. And I say the same thing, nothing changed. And if I say the same thing and say, you are a really nice person, the feeling is different, isn't it? You are a really nice person. You are a really nice person. You are a really nice person. Yeah, you are really nice person. Yes, you are. Do you see that? 2 different feelings. What happened? And obviously you'll be like, oh, your tone is different. Yes, my tone is different, but it's naturally different. The moment you flip your hand, you talk authoritatively. So when you want to talk to somebody with authority, even on a phone call, you should test this. Even on a phone call, maybe I should phone call somebody. Maybe we should do this right now. Huh? No. Okay. So even on a phone call, you pick up the phone and you talk to them with an open gesture, like palm up, non-threatening gesture, but palm down, which is authority. All of a sudden your tone changes. Do you see that? This is like, yeah, how are you doing? This is how are you doing? You become more like guttural, like you sound from your stomach, right? You feel more connected. And you might have seen this in like prominent leaders like Churchill. When Churchill talks, he's not like, let's save our country from Hitler. That's not what he's saying. He talks with authority. Look at Hitler, extreme example. When he talks, he never puts his arm up, right? So does that mean that you become evil if you put your arm like that? No. You become more powerful. You will not become Hitler. It's too late for you. Yeah, the point is that his holding the fist, the way he speaks, like you might have seen him in a video, and when he speaks, he uses fist like this, like that, right? All of a sudden you could see he's not. What if somebody put their fist like this? It feels nothing, right? The entire feeling is gone. But he does this. Like you can actually Google, Hitler's speech. You'd be like that. And then sometimes he opens his fist too. But most of the time he's clenching his fist and then keeping the thing too. It feels so authoritative. So much authority can be achieved just by that. And I'll show you an implication of this in handshaking in a second. But before that, people who are following me from US or other countries who know Vivek Ramaswamy, this guy who was an Indian guy who tried to be president of the United States. One of the biggest mistakes that he was making, of course, he made a lot of them, but he did an amazing job in certain levels. But one of the biggest mistakes that he did was this. Every time he spoke, he was doing like this. America lost its identity. Nobody resonates with a person who's arrogant. This is showing arrogance. Immediately you feel disconnected to me a little bit, don't you? Like the Vivek Ramaswamy was always like, Trump doesn't do that. Biden doesn't do that. Like refined politicians don't do that. He was doing like that. I know what I'm saying. You don't know shit. That's what the energy is. Makes sense? So in speaking and with your team, with your sales conversation, don't be overconfident and cocky and do this. This is the biggest mistake, one of the biggest mistakes that you could make. And imagine this, like you could see this like in real time when I demonstrate this. Have you ever seen an angry person do this. If you don't listen to me right now, I'm going to kill you. Like, no, not in no movie you will see that, right? Like, I'm going to kill you. It's weird, right? It feels weird. Yeah, we're the Russian mafia. We can take care of you. It's weird, right? It has to be this. And it has to be this, not this. If somebody comes and tell you, listen to what I'm saying, it's weird, right? It's like this. Like, it has a different meaning. This is open, and authority. It confuses the brain. So this, something that you shouldn't do, something we shouldn't do. So too much authority. Do it or else. That's what it's saying. Pointing finger. Please don't point finger at people. Yeah, they're annoyed by that. And some people who are really confident, they're really good at masking it. Like, they really want to say it like this. So what they do is they use this. That is the thumb again as a fingertip to avoid intimidating people. Like, some people are really confident, right? And they cannot stop it. They are really, really overconfident people. And when they go on stage, in order to avoid intimidation, they do this. They do this. They say this. They say like that. They say like that. They do gestures and keep the finger together with the thumb. All of a sudden, it's neutralized. It's a different feeling. Yeah? Sense make? Okay. Cool. Continuing into handshake. So if you look at handshake, I mean, the way handshake was created, the reason why handshake was created, so that people, when they make a deal, they could shake on it. And then this kind of a deal maker situation, commercial deals, whatever, right? And then it became a greeting thing too. So you might have seen like some aggressive politicians and some non-aggressive politicians who want to control the narrative. What they do is, if they shake somebody's hand, and they will pull the person's hand as if it's a tug of war. They're running with it, right? They're like, oh, like they hold the hand and they pull them. And all of a sudden, the other person is destabilized. You have seen this. If you haven't seen this, just Google any handshake by Donald Trump. He actually pulls other people using his arms, pull them into the thing, destabilize the other person. All of a sudden, they lost their mojo, right? All of a sudden, they're like, oh, what happened now, right? And there is one situation, I think it was Emmanuel Macron. What he did is, like, he's a very physical guy. So Trump was pulling him, he was not moving, right? So funny, like he's a very strong guy. So people try to intimidate other people by pulling their arms and pulling them. So if you see somebody like that, make sure that you stand your ground and then make sure that you pull yours back, right? But please don't do that to other people, if possible. The other thing is submissive handshake. You might have seen some people, they just bring your hand like this. Hi, how are you? Okay. This is like submission. You're submitting to the other person. We shouldn't do that either, right? That means that you're not confident. They will not assess you as a confident person. These are subconscious triggers that let the other person know that you're not capable. They might think that you're not capable, although you are capable, probably. This is like superiority. Like, you're going from the opposite direction, that you're like, some people shake their hand like this. It's like I'm the Pope or something. Hey, kiss my ring, like Godfather, right? When you see Godfather movies, like Michael Corleone, he comes and like gives your finger like this, and somebody kisses. Okay, thank you, Godfather. And then he says, don't fight against the family, whatever he says. Okay. So do you see that? So this is superiority. Don't do that either. And somebody brings their hand like this. What do? Like, they bring their hand. I hold their hand, flip their hand immediately to straight. I don't push it down, but I just flip it. They wouldn't even know about it. Like, they will be coming, like, some people are like, they feel so much superior. They think they are the end of the world. They come here, they bring their hand, and immediately I twist it, I turn it, and make it straight. And if they try to switch it, I won't let them. I mean, if they're physically too much stronger than me, usually it is. But by the time you can take the hand off, right? If you're like dealing with Arnold Schwarzenegger or something, like, you can take your hand off. But people like who are really, really confident and calm, they don't do this. Like, these are like cocky people, right? They think that they are the end of the world. So don't let anybody hold your hand from that upper positioning. That means you're submitting it to them. Eventually, they are forcing you to submit. We don't want that, right? And you don't even know what happened. Energetically, you'll feel that. Double handing is another one. So the ideal, before I get to double handing, I just want to let you know, it's also called politician's handshake. I'll get to that in a second. The other way the proper way to shake your hand is like it's straight, like for example, like this, right? Not like this, not like this, straight. You respect the other person respects you. That's what it is. Politician handshake, you might have seen this time and again. Politicians do this a lot. You shake your hand to them, they take the other hand. So they are shaking your hand and they put the other hand on the other side of your arm too. Other side of your hand too. So they're using both hands to give shake hand like this. Imagine your hand is middle. Like imagine this water bottle is your hand. I'm shaking your hand with both my hands. That if they do that, then you take the other hand and then place it on top of their hand. So this way you establish authority and equality. Okay, so the world's worst handshakes are if your hand is actually wet after using restroom. If your hand is wet, I know you might have washed and everything, but if you go shake somebody, they will be like, oh, what is this, right? So please make sure that your hands are dry before you shake your hand. And don't be weak. Like for example, when you're shaking your hand, don't like shake your hand just with your finger. Like if somebody's coming with their hand, you're like this is like weak and fearful. That means you're not engaging with the person. You're not confident enough. That's the opposite thing, right? And on the contrary, when you're dealing with women, when you're shaking hand with women, there are so many people who have this habit of using maximum strength on handshakes. They'll be like, I'm very, very strong person. I'm very, very confident person. And all of a sudden, the other person has to go to emergency to fix their palm. Like, oh, they break their bones and stuff like that. We don't want that. Especially with women. When you're dealing with women, when you're shaking hands to women, don't like hold the whole hand and shake like normally. And in workplace, you can. But, in my experience, best way to shake a woman's hand is like this, shake like that, right? For example, you hold her hand and like half of the hand and do shake like that, right? That's very, very subtle, very soft. And I think women prefer that. Let's find out more after we talk with more women. I think that's what that has been my experience. And then some people hold your wrist, for example, instead of double handshake, what they do is they'll hold the other side. They hold your arm, they hold here, right? So these are all kind of superiority. They're like, okay, child, let me handle you. Like, oh, hey, let me handle you. If it's a person of authority and they are being nice to you, that's good. If you're seeing a prime minister or CEO of a company and he shakes and hold you on a shoulder, basically they are caring for you a little bit. But if an equal person is putting hand on the shoulder, you take your other hand and put that on their other shoulder. Otherwise, what happens is you're not treated equally there either, right? So those are some important things. But the most important thing that I would like you to learn is, please, don't break other people's hand. That is not the idea. The right side positioning is another thing that I would like you to know. The concept about right side, due to whatever reasons for humans, right side is really important. So if you see that in interviews or when two world leaders are talking, the person who's standing on the right side is having better positioning. And you might see this in interaction with Nixon and Ronald Reagan. Maybe I could put a picture here. Ronald Reagan, and they are really good at moving to the right side. So which means that in picture, you will see them on the left side of the picture, but they are actually on the right side, like talking to the person. So you must be shaking hand with the person from this side. Makes sense? So this way you are the one who's in control. You are handling the situation more effectively. In deals, negotiation, sales, everything, this gives actually, you are the person who's providing, giving, protecting the person on the right side. And there is something fascinating that I observed, and based on like so many studies, people who really like you, people who are really close to you as friends, they actually, if you're sitting somewhere like in an open space, will they sit in your left side or your right side? What do you think? Your best friend is coming. Write down, right or left. I'll give you 3 minutes. I'm kidding. I'll give you 10 seconds. 5, 3, 2. That's it. On your right side. They will actually, your best friend will come and sit on your right side. A person who you are a best friend to, they'll sit on your left side, right? And if your husband will come on your right side, your really loved one will come and sit on your right side. Somebody who's supporting you. It's fascinating, right? And in table, like in restaurants, if you sit down on a restaurant, essentially the people who are really close to you, they would not sit across to you. I mean, there are situations where you might need to sit across, but if they are really close, you might have seen lovers, they don't sit across each other, they sit next to each other. Like, and usually the person who's supportive of the other person, like more supportive of the other person, will sit on the right side. So this is a fascinating thing about left versus right. And I'll talk to you about foot direction of foot, and what it means if a person is standing next to you and if the foot in your direction and three people are standing, and then if the foot is on one foot is on one person's direction, another foot is on another person's direction, or if the foot is completely away from both of you, what does that mean? I'll explain that with my own mistakes in a second. Smile. Smile is a fascinating thing that is really important. And women know this. Like a lot of women know this intuitively. Men generally do, like it doesn't, most men, they miss it, right? So when somebody is smiling, they're smiling like this. The eyes are wide open. They might be fake smiling at this point right now. So if you don't want to, if you want to fake smile really good, you make your eyes smaller too. I'm not recommending that you fake smile, but when you smile, the eyes should get smaller. Do you see that? Right. The eyes should get smaller. When you're actually smiling, people should feel like, okay, the eyes should be smaller. So if somebody is smiling, the eyes are like wide open like this, which means they might be faking, right? So a person who's smiling, speaking of smile, a person who's smiling and still their lips are like tight, like this, they could be constipating. That's a possibility. Another possibility is that, or they might be having a stroke, or another possibility is they are hiding something. They don't want to disclose what it is. So they are closing their mouth, metaphorically, physiologically, they are closing their mouth to not disclose, just like a child. Not disclose, not show what they're really feeling, right? So yeah, all of a sudden, that's a fake smile, and they are hiding something from you. That's fascinating, right? Fascinating thing about thing. So hand gestures. So I'm getting into hand gestures. So hand gestures. What is this? What does this mean? Expectation. Rubbing the palm is an expectation gesture. And actually, when you are expecting something really good, you will have sensation in your palm. You will actually do this naturally. I got a deal for you. I have a deal for you. Okay. I'm expecting something positive. I feel good about this thing. That's so when somebody does that, they're sincerely doing that, right? They're instead of doing this, they do this. It means something else. I'll tell you that in a second. Like this is thumb and finger rub. This is another thing that is universal, and we kind of feel that money, right? Right. So that is a feeling. So arm on the arm side, like hand versus arm, crossing. Crossing can be like so many meanings, like I told you. This is like, I'm not open to what you're saying. I don't fucking care, right? So that's what I'm saying here, right? And I'm like really closing this too, right? I have closed my fist. I'm like, okay, this is like, I'm not interested in what you're saying. Like some generals do that, right? Some like people from military authorities, they'll be like, no, I'm not interested. Do you see that? Like it's closed. And there is another gesture that you would do this and do this. You know what this means? This is like, I still disagree with you. I don't want to talk with you. I don't want your whatever you're selling. I don't want it. But I'm a really cool guy. Look at me. I'm a really cool guy. Right? So that's what I'm doing with that. So there are so many different hand gestures itself. By the way, gestures come in clusters. If they are saying something and if they are doing something opposite, it's incongruence. If they are saying that I'm interested in you and they are doing this, I'm very, very interested in you, and closing their arm, which means they might not be interested. If they have their feet crossed too, they're definitely not interested, right? And if they have their neck down, they're definitely not interested. So there are so many different cues collected together, you can assess what a person is thinking, right? So this is another hand gesture, which is like basically feeling insecure. And essentially, I'm not buying what you're selling, but I feel insecure too, right? And by the way, I don't know whether you have seen this. This can be done here on your arm, or you might have seen this done on a table. Like imagine this is a table. You'll be like, get the fuck out of here. I don't have time. I don't have patience for you. This is what it is doing, right? Like, come on. You should be done already. Right? That's impatience. So tapping is impatience. So interesting stuff, huh? So, but if one person is holding their arm, one arm to the other side, it's just stay. They just feel comfortable like this, like this. They just it's just being comfortable, right? Like one arm. Two different meaning, right? And some people, some men, they're protective of their genitals and they hold their hand like this. It's like they're being open and comfortable and feeling safe, right? That is not a closed gesture. So final step about the hand gesture is like you might have seen like people who are like speakers, they adjust their like their jackets. They do this. This is nervousness gesture too. I mean, most people will have nervousness. So they handle their nervousness. They like correct their watch. They hold this. This is basically like they go there. You might have seen some celebrities and Hollywood actors and other stuff. They're really good at acting, but and when they do something, when they go in front of a mic, they'll do this. They adjust their thing. Right? These are all nervousness protection gestures. Handbag as a tool. So if a woman has a handbag in front of her, holding her handbag, imagine this is my entire product. Can be converted into like a water bottle too. You'll be fascinated now. This is a water bottle that can be used as a handbag too. So a woman holding a handbag like this, essentially, she's protecting her body by, it's a barrier that can be used as a protection. Okay. And moving on to same thing. If somebody is drinking water, like I told you, there are so many options, or a coffee. They're drinking their coffee like this. Do you see this? They're not open. I am not interested in you. I'm not interested in talking with you. And but versus what if she does hold her arm like this and she's drinking like this, or he is drinking like this? Do you see the body being open? The more open the body is, generally speaking, more open they are to the idea, right? So now let's get into lying. And I told you when a small kid lies, essentially he's holding his arms like this, your hands like this. It's like, Daddy, I didn't pee on the couch. The teenager is like, I didn't break the car. No, I did not. The adult version of lying is touching your nose. It's fascinating when you're saying something that is not consistent with what you're saying, you actually touch the nose. The touch could be like this. And fascinatingly, human nose will itch when you say lie, unless you're a professional liar. In that case, you might have mastered this thing. But most people at least have an itch. Like they will have a like irresistible itch in the nose. They'll like do this. And some people will be like, just touch. Some people are like, they'll try to make up, like adjust makeup stuff. Right? They might do like that too. Just like that. Or this. Or this. This is the most natural one, right? These are all different variations of lying, right? And I really love you. Yeah, you should be scared now, right? You look really good. I love your performance. You're so much performing, right? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you got the idea, right? Touching the nose. Okay. And eye rub. Oh, eye rub is really good, right? If it's like, you look so handsome. What is that? Tell me. Put that in the chat. What is that? Oh, you look beautiful, sweetie. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Look at you. Look at your eyes. You're so beautiful. I cannot stand you. I cannot stand how beautiful you are. Of course, they are telling you that you look beautiful, but I cannot stand it. I'm jealous. I'm envious. I'm not liking it. I cannot see it. Eye rub means I can't see it. Okay. Fascinating, right? And like, what about this one? I really want to hear like a lot about this. Somebody says, I really want to hear a lot about this, but I have an appointment right now. But oh my gosh, I really, really want to listen to this. You know what that means? Ear rub is, I don't want to hear it. The direct opposite, right? I don't want to hear it. So they are like telling you that I don't want to hear it, but they're using their ear to tell you that I don't want to. You're too boring for me. Or for some reason, I don't want to hear it. Neck scratch. Showing uncertainty. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bill next month. Uncertainty. It's universal, right? And then people who are lying, sometimes they will have heat under their collar. So the collar pull is like, not like that, but they just pull a little bit. Yeah. Oh, this place I love. I love this place. This is so one of the best places I have been. They're pulling their collar essentially. The body is temperature has gone up, especially on the around the collar, and that is letting them know that you know what, you're lying to themselves, right? So that is something that you could observe. That is called collar pull. Okay. Now, anything that involves closing your mouth, all of this, essentially, it's a variation of lie. Right. So now I want you to understand something that I didn't know. Like when I was young, when I was when I was in college and stuff like that, I used to go to talk to girls. And whenever I talk, obviously I'm very boring, and I would talk about like boringest topic. And then, especially, I mean, hopefully it has changed now, but at the time, like really boring topic. And the women are like, "Oh, Ruble, oh my gosh, that was the best idea ever." And then their arms are crossed, leg is closed, So I went to the hostel where some women stay. I asked for Priyanka, and Priyanka comes like, oh, very excited. She's so excited to see me. And then her leg is crossed, and her leg is crossed, and the arms are closed. And then she's looking away from my eyes. And then she's like, oh my gosh, what a great idea. And then sometimes she does her hand like this too. She put her hand under her chin. It means that they are bored the hell. They just want to run away from you, but they don't have an option. They have to pretend to like you, right? So crossing arms, crossing legs, cluster with this thing in some capacity. It's like, oh my gosh, girl, you're so amazing. Oh, then they're basically bored. They are crossed, and they don't want to hear you. They just want pretending. We pretend a lot as humans, right? So boredom. Anything under the thing is boredom. If you're listening to this under your arm, I'll be very sad. If you put your arm below your chin and listening to this, please don't do that to me again, okay? All right, chin stroking. This is like, what is this? You already know this. Yeah, evaluating. Is it true? I'm sure you did this a few minutes ago. Huh, is it really true? Is it really true you do this too? Right? Anything. But the moment it goes down like this, one, you are evaluating a negative thought. You're kind of having a negative thoughts too. It's not 100% accurate. There might be other reasons for this too. But for the most part, below and side evaluation, below touching, which means you might be having negative thoughts about it. The other person might be having negative thoughts about it. So it's good for us to know what is happening, right? Like I told you, evaluation. This is evaluation. This is evaluation. Scratching is evaluation. This is evaluation. Anything that is on face, not closing the nose and mouth, is basically evaluation. And you might have seen this like hand rub on the back. Like, pain in the neck. And you might have seen this in like emojis too, like whoever created emojis, you might see that. It's like, you are a pain in the neck. And the other person is like, you're my best employee. You're my best employee. Oh my gosh. Right. But you're a pain in the neck for them. Or you're my best client. You're my best vendor. Right? Don't believe a word that comes out after that, out of their mouth after that. Basically, they're tired of you. They just want to get rid of you. And you might have seen the palm face, right? This is like, you see that. What does it mean? Punishing oneself by slapping oneself. Basically, it's like, oh, why did I get this to happen? Why did I get this to happen? Right? These are all, and you will see some of these things in emojis, like I said. And as I'm concluding, I want to make two more points. Point number one is the eye movements. This is something that fascinated me a lot. I mean, this is something that, I mean, the whole entire justice psychology is something that I studied for almost 2.5 decades. Not like studying all the time, but I read about these books like in my early 20s. But around 25 years, I have been like studying, observing those things and studying and like getting more and more clarity on it. And one thing that stands out from the crowd is eye movements. And there is so much about eye movements, but I wanted to give you like a couple of points here. One point is if you're looking up, right, and talking, essentially you're describing the past. You're looking up at right and talking, generally describing a visual thing from the past. If you're looking at sideways and you're talking, you're hearing something from the past. If you're looking down on the right and then you're talking, you're describing a pain from the past, a physical feeling of generally physical feeling of pain from the past. If you're looking up on the left, look up, and then you talk from there, you're actually talking about something new that hasn't happened yet. This is like new sound that hasn't happened yet. This is new pain that you're imagining, you are creating, imaginary pain that you're making up. So, question, I have done hundreds and hundreds of interviews for employees all over the world. So when we interview, you ask them about the past experience. If they look up, to the left up, and they are like, oh, when I did this, I did that, all of a sudden, what does that mean? And they're touching their nose too. They're just making it up, right? So please understand that. So left up is imaginary. So if they are making up their experience, which we all, like probably most people might have done a little bit in some capacity, but if they're truly making it up, then they will be looking up on the left and talking from there. Oh, when I was like, oh, I used to work with that boss, and then the boss really loved me. I was one of the best employees. Don't hire that person. Makes sense? So that is about the gesture psychology with the final point. If leg is used as a barrier, then it means that they are not open to you. That is universal. Like if a woman crosses her leg, they are not interested in you. They are not interested in talking. If the woman has crossed her leg and if her foot is in a different direction, run away because they are not interested in you at all, right? So if you bring in two people together and if they have their arms crossed, like for example, two people talking with their arms crossed and their leg crossed, I cannot show the leg crossed unless I jump or something. So if they have two people, their arms crossed, the leg crossed, and they're looking down, talking like this, then essentially nothing is going to happen. There's no deal happening. If they are open in their arm, open in their body, essentially, they're open to making it happen. And one way you could do it is by adapting a gesture that is open most of the time. If you have the capacity and skill set to build an open gesture, be open to people, open your body a lot, and then be expressive, and all of a sudden, most people will be expressing to you. I know I dumped a lot of stuff today, lot of things, lot of examples, lot of ideas about gesture psychology, but the key point is use this. Use one of them, two of them, three of them in the next negotiation that you're doing, and the next deal that you're making, and in the next sales conversation that you are going to be part of. Let me know how you used it. I'm so looking forward to hear your feedback on how you used it, and I'll see you on the next one. Talk to you later.